Well, we're getting some.
We got some. We got the confirmation in our headsets, of course. This is for the Korean side of things. It went all through all of our headsets. So just a correction on the Korean side of things, that we are on the Genji version, not the Cassia version, which is true, which is what we said already correctly, but there seemed to be some confusion on the other side of things. Anyways, just to confirm once more as we jump into this draft, because I know a lot of people skip to the draft in the VODs, we are on the Genji patch with Genji disabled.
That's right.
Genji will be enabled next week.
And no Hanamura, because Hanamura is not in our map pool, of course.
That's
Maybe
right.
We'll see Hanamura in Season 2, possibly. Yeah. I would love to see the map.
Probably after the mid-season brawl, we'll see a change to the map pool. I'm just speculating, but Li Ming is banned immediately, as with the changes to HGC, his Rockstar passive no longer giving attack speed. You're really looking at mages and poke a lot of the time on this map in terms of the race. And L5 may even consider the Nazebo ban here, to be honest, because it's just so powerful in this longer sustained meta in terms of racing down these Immortals without the attack speed that ETC could provide.
And from both teams, because ETC, we saw lots of Tyrael ETC with Hammer or sometimes with Tychus to have that attack speed boost. But now with that change, I think Arthas and Muradin steps a little bit higher compared to before. So let's see, let's go into draft, and if they prioritize on the tanks, it is going to be first pick. Artan is coming out from BlossoM already.
Yeah, even without ETC to buff his attack speed, he's very powerful here. And, you know, we live in a world where there's a big question mark now where is ETC even going to be seen in pro play, because his reduction of his health pool makes it a lot tougher to be aggressive with him, which was his main role as a tanker in the early game outside of this map. And I'm hoping so. I hope we do see some more Tyrael ETC plays like we've seen, especially over the last 2 weeks. But the ETC as a tank may be kind of relegated towards that niche pick, like the Anubarak pick, for example, that you just don't see very often. So that changes the meta. It means we're going to be seeing a ton more Johanna, for example, absolutely. And Muradin obviously has always been a strong tank, and he'll be up at the top with Arthas. But it feels like Johanna may just take ETC's place in terms of meta tanking. I'm going to see the safe rotation that L5 does almost every time in second pick, which is the Muradin Malfurion.
Still provides a lot.
Sylvanas!
Haven't seen Sylvanas for a while.
No chat, grinning. By the way, the change to Greymane with Wolfheart kind of being nerfed, I guess, but the W itself is kind of getting more baseline cooldown reduction, is really good for this map because you're constantly auto-attacking, obviously, when you're racing on the Immortals, so you have that up almost non-stop. If you're out of a fight, though, you can't auto. Somewhat of a nerf, though, to his cooldown. Also,
Cursed Bullet got the extra 5% boost, 35% before. Maybe you're having a tough time picking it now with the 40% HP down, and off of Muradin, that's even better. Maybe even without the 7-sided strike, if you bring that Cursed Bullet onto Muradin and just melt him down, I think that's also a possibility for BlossoM there. So
this feels very old school Tempest-esque, what we're seeing from BlossoM. It's to win the Immortal race and use the objective to crush with Sylvanas' trait. So you will disable the cannon towers and forts. You get an insanely powerful Immortal push as a result. That's the plan. That's the kind of archetype that BlossoM is going towards. We saw this a lot back in actually summer season 2016 of HGC from primarily Chinese teams. Occasionally the Korean teams run it as well. MVU Black notorious for Sylvanas on this map. It's really rare right now. Well, you definitely don't want to ban Genji. He's globally banned. I think they're just teasing.
But Genji's in the Nexus. They're making sure
that's right.
We're on to the Genji patch.
So he will be, if I'm understanding the tweets from MilkFat correctly, he will be in play next week. So we're on his patch, and I've been playing him a lot. He's incredible. Feels just like Overwatch, man. And he might need some tuning. But we're probably going to look at a DPS ban here of some kind. Okay, Arthas is also acceptable because Arthas can really mess up how Artanis and Greymane function as DPS heroes on the Invade comp. If we went into an Arthas Tyrael, for example, that would be kind of a scary thing. It's the Muradin already, so that's not possible, but just in general, if you bring the Arthas in with some strong range DPS, you can invade this very well. L5 still has Zeratul available, which is a terrifying concept for harassing the backline against Sylvanas specifically. So I think they're definitely giving that some consideration. And Cassia is not out of the question here. Obviously, she can dive in, and she has a lot of protection from her trait. While she's moving, she basically gets passive armor against auto attacks. So her just being able to close the gap on Greymane and Artanis is not a crazy idea that she could be seen here. Not the best racing melee assassin, but not terrible at that either.
They can still keep up with Tychus if they want to go standard still. I know L5 loves to pick safety choices, and it's going to be Tyrael with Sergeant Hammer still. They're keeping the exact same team comp just without the ETC coming in. Maybe they will even put ETC at the end because they do have the sanctification available for Mosh later on. Of course, they will have a slower racing because ETC will not have that trait available. But now the big question is Lucio is banned, Malfurion is taken. Are we going to see the reworked Uther coming in? Greymane, Divine Shield just going in, just popping everyone off.
Feels old school, right? I mean, I think there's a high chance we do see it. His passive armor that he gains, or that Greymane will gain from Uther during the attack while he just drops down his heals when he drops a Q, for example, can be very powerful. I spent a lot of time on PTR and also on live now practicing the new Uther, and I personally feel that he still faces some of the problems that he faced in the past, which is his cooldown is so incredibly long. But when you have just one, there he is.
Here we go.
Just one key target for the Greymane. The long cooldown doesn't feel as bad, doesn't feel as weak. And it's going to be ETC regardless with this. So that old school Divine Shield mosh pit is something that we've seen since the very first season of OGN back in 2015.
That's right. And also ETC is a steal away from L5 to cut that Sanctification Mosh combo coming in. Still, ETC provides lots of good CCs, and having Malfurion on the other side will be very tough to have Power Slide in if Malfurion can root and zone out the entire team very well.
So for L5, you know, range damage, they might just go into the Tychus. Nazeebo's still available as well. Nazeebo going to be very strong against Uther specifically because Uther has that big burst heal on such a long cooldown, as well as his W. If he misses his Radiance there, then it's going to be really tough for him to actually heal up the rest of his teammates, while Nazeebo just burns them down from the backline.
But the thing is, if they take Nazeebo because they have Sylvanas on the other side, this BlossoM is looking for a short game, not a long game. That's what L5 is considering right now. They want to make this long, but having Sylvanas on the other side will be the problem. So they go with Zeratul instead.
This is going to get wonky. Zeratul has the ability to harass the backline here. Uther is going to be a lot tougher. It's going to be a lot tougher for Zeratul to deal with than some of the other supports right now because of the tankiness that he's going to provide with his heals. Timing is going to be everything here for Scarlet to make sure that he hits those heals appropriately. And like I said before, when you only have one good target, one main target for the heals in the Greymane, that becomes a lot easier. But this game is going to get crazy already to start things off. A lot of reworked heroes. Let's see how they function as we get into the Nexus for game number 1 on Battlefield of Eternity. In blue, it is BlossoM. Scarlet playing Uther, Dudu on Sylvanas, Wiz on Artanis, Judy on ETC, and No Chat on Greymane.
And in red, L5 SCSC on Tyrael, Natrojin on Sergeant Hammer, Junghan, Zeratul, Noblesse on Morden, and Swoy on Malfurion.
Sprays! Pray and spray.
Alright.
Should be BlossoM who's praying in this series, but we'll see they can make this new comp work. Honestly, on paper though, G-Clef, if I had to be totally honest, I kind of like BlossoM's composition better for the map. The weakened ETC is still a big question mark on my mind, but he's got his armor available, so we'll see. As you can see now, when he uses Rockstar, he will gain that armor logo, as well as, just to give this for the new viewers, because not everyone knows how this works, when you see Scarlet drop down the heals, you'll see that same exact armor icon shown to the right side, as you can see it right next to his head there. So that's kind of how Uther's new passive works. So if you want to know if someone's armored or not, you can see it right now. Judy is, because he just power slid. And that's going to help him be a little bit tankier temporarily in moves like when he slides in Obviously, if he can't get out right afterwards on the retreat, he's just going to have a smaller health pool to work with than before. As everyone has played games with their friends, and they have the BlossoM mount. I got that yesterday.
Week 1 and week 2, 5 games each.
Did you see the official BlossoM Police Department tweeted about it?
Really?
Yeah, has like 7,000 retweets.
Did not check that yet, but D.Va Police skin looks amazing. As in, D.Va's gonna join Nexus very soon. I'm very hyped about D.Va coming in. And finally, you can finally have all 5 Overwatch team comp.
That's right. I'm excited for it.
Look at those sprays dropping all over. No more B steps. We're gonna have sprays all over now.
I'm hoping we still get both. Imagine a B-step on the Heroes of the Storm logo. So beautiful. Anyways, Shando's actually coming out, interestingly enough, at level 1 for Malfurion. It's going to be for cooldown reduction for Zeratul specifically, so he has his cooldowns up way more often. Look at this harassment coming up for the backline for jungle, looking for Dudu immediately. Now the heal goes off, it's a long cooldown, so No Chat's going to have to be careful. You can see, look, her SC sees the exact moment to go for the pick. This is what happens when you use a cooldown that's so long earlier on Sylvanas like that. No Chat does not have heals, L5 immediately looks at this opportunity to get the pick. Good retreat, good disengage from BlossoM, but Uther's healing is just on such a long cooldown that when you see a big burst go down on Sylvanas, you're like, okay, Greymane, if he steps one step further forward, he is dead.
Exactly. Without that armor, though, coming out from Uther's heal, I think Greymane could have went down for sure. It was very low even with that armor. And now we're going to see a small team fight. Judy, of course, not providing the speed attack will be a little bit painful for No Chat to auto-attack into race.
So this has just been no picks for L5, but consistently better trading in these fights. Ooh, big swap in onto SC though, nicely done, and he's gonna go down. Very well done, but it will come at a cost. Looks like it's actually gonna be a double kill regardless. Only a 2-for-1 though for L5 as Noblesse desperately tries to get out. He's body blocked here by Judy. Looks like he will get out. Nice dodge there by Dudu, but BlossoM, really good swap there. Wiz hitting it when he needed it. But still, they're going to have to hearth home. L5's still healthier. And Zeratul's coming back, actually, to the battlefield right now.
Now they want to go for this. As Nitrogen has a very safe siege mode right in the middle to keep the damage for offense and also defense if the enemies come to the other side.
So in terms of builds for Greymane, obviously the changes to Wolfheart not really going to affect him too much. We're still seeing him go into that cocktail afterwards. Not necessarily, very unlikely he goes into Wiz and Duelist, but you know, we always had to entertain the possibility with the Uther and Divine Shield on the board. So the Immortal, after this shift, is in favor of L5 as they look for the invade here. SC just constantly out-druinsing for the poke. And look at Jungai in the backline once again, poking so hard, making it so difficult for BlossoM to engage. Wiz is actually completely out of the fight now.
But you gotta also see Uther coming in. That's a lot of... See, we talk about burst and burst heal comes in from BlossoM, but sustaining-wise, L5 has the upper hand with Malfurion on their back line. Look at those kills coming out. Already 2 kills picked up for L5.
And Uther is such a mana-demanding hero with the Conjurer's Pursuit removed from him. You know, it feels so long ago now, but with Conjurer's Pursuit gone, even on a map like this, it was the go-to pick because he needs so much mana. He needs so much mana reduction. And you can see at the end of that fight, Scarlet was basically all but out of mana. And the longer the fights go on, he has to use all of his cooldowns. And every time the Zeratul comes in for the harass in the backline, yes, he can prevent a death with that armor and that burst heal, but how many times can he consistently really put the heal off is the big question. And it just hasn't been good enough in these fights. Malfurion still being the more consistent healing output, as you just mentioned. Push continues here. We're going to see level 7 up for L5. They have a decent pushing composition, obviously, with Nitrogen, are in the Sergeant Hammer. Their sole source of range damage. Judy coming in with a big power slide here. Doesn't come up with anything, though. And I don't think they're even going to be able to save this fort, to be honest.
We'll be very low at the very end, and L5 can't even push. Looks like they are not going to for the moment. There is Shyvana's available for BlossoM's side.
Even look at this spider mine setup here for Nachojin, making the chase a lot tougher.
We've been seeing a lot of 0-2 solo lane on top, even to get EXP. There's Noblesse sending right next to there to pick on, try to get some pick on to Dudu. Burst heal and sustaining is actually continuing for BlossoM.
Yeah, this is actually really scary. Nachojin's positioning there for a second. Oh, Noblesse gets interrupted. He is a dead dwarf, almost 100%. No way out of here. Dwarf toss is his only way out. That was risky positioning. 101. SC wants to make this a 1-for-1 trade. NoChat should be fine here, actually. May even be a +2 for BlossoM. Okay, they will get the kill onto Sylvanas as the retreat is on. Was looking for the swap on the Nachojin. He is sieged, and so it is going to be at the end of everything at 2v2. This extended fight. This has not been a clean game by L5 by any means.
That's right, but it's also, I feel like the key player right now for BlossoM is Judy. He has been power sliding in and cutting off door tosses with that fairy smell exactly perfectly, and also power sliding from the side towards his allies, so Uther can continuously chain CC with the hammer instead of going in front by himself, because now he has less health. Of course, he does get armor for 2 seconds, but after 2 seconds, you can melt down pretty quickly. So great job to Judy. I think his understanding of the new ETC is almost nearly perfect already.
You definitely, you have to respect him, and I feel L5 is not, especially Noblesse, positioning himself in such a way where he could be interrupted on his dwarf toss. When you put yourself in a position like that, you're just saying, okay, you'll never interrupt me, which against a pro team like BlossoM is just not a realistic expectation. So much cocktail damage actually coming out, by the way, from NoChat. He should actually be done with his cooldown reduction quest very soon. The harassment here on the Dudu, there's the first shield. So long cooldown for that heal for the time being. Speaking of which, Wiz gets caught, rooted into a stun. There was no heal for him there.
And that's level 10 for L5. We're going to see Void Prison popped right on the left to zone out the entire team, so they have to go around instead. Uther may actually survive with that power slide saving out from Judy.
Yeah, he wanted to smite over the wall, but it's actually good pathing. Harassment coming from the backlines here from Jungha, but engaging under fort is just not realistic because it would obviously aggro it instantly as soon as he revealed himself. Silver Touch is completed here for Uther pretty quickly, mind you. I'm just waiting for that cocktail quest to be finished as well, because that's going to be a big amount of damage burst from BlossoM coming out on multiple targets, because even though we talk about the consistent heals of Malfurion, the longer the fight goes on, multi-target damage coming out from the cocktails is going to make it very difficult for Malfurion to actually continue to heal.
There's a big power slide and a swap connects, but Nachojin can safely go away, and there's a beam to chase.
Yep. Really, neither of the heroics incredibly powerful for Artanis in this situation. It's not a crazy heavy auto attack comp. Obviously does have the hammer, but Mosh Pit coming in here actually without Divine Shield, mind you, but there's just not enough follow damage. Divine Shield comes on to Greymane instead. Sanctification used counterwise, but it's already 2 dead on the side of BlossoM, make it 3. And there just wasn't enough follow-up damage there. Some disjointed, perhaps, communication on the side of BlossoM. Greymane not actually coordinated in the attack once the stage dive, or not stage dive, sorry, Mosh Pit came down.
And that's lots of coordination coming out from BlossoM. L5 really had the upper hand as going in. They already had better heroics because Beam was used to chase down Sergeant Hammer before the fight, so that's already 4v5 heroics for BlossoM, and L5 had better positioning of the fight where they had the boss for their side. So just better positioning and just coordination coming out from L5.
I just feel like not the full story of the fight was not completely shown by Observer, but it feels like BlossoM should have crushed that fight with no interrupt on the Mosh Pit and Greymane having the Divine Shield, but just did not work out that way. Nachojin was never vulnerable. Samaz didn't do enough follow-up damage so that NoChat could go for the throat and get the reset. Sounds weird to say go for the throat, but he certainly did not. Swaps coming in here. Noblesse, though, does Dwarf Toss away, and they want a hard engage onto Wiz right now, who's in the front lines. Already does get that big Uther shield, though.
And even Hammer to secure the kill at the very end. That's one of the one of the things that a lot of us actually forgot, those target CC on with Hammer Uther coming in. That's a very strong win. You have the opposite team coming. There's a big swap onto Jungha, but she's Zeratul.
Doesn't have Blink though, has to void himself to get out, but Dudu is on the chase. There's the Blink. They do get the pick on the ECC in the top lane, but it is going to be a dead Jungha. Probably should have turned around to fight there, but you know, that's human nature, man. Fight or flight when you're dying like that. It's just to run away. Never do that in your solo queue games, by the way. Always turn and fight when you're dead for sure. You're gonna get more out of that than just walking back and delaying your death timer. So, okay, level 13 is up here, and that fight actually went better for BlossoM than I thought it would. The next Immortal phase is going to be critical, as we're talking keep walls on the side of L5 with Sergeant Hammer. You know, reaching better scaling as we reach level 13, soon to be 14. Can definitely do a lot in terms of damage and her pushing power. And have all heroics available too.
Actually, not even cleanse coming out from Uther. It is the Guardian. And you give a lot more shields to the target you heal when it's rooted or stunned. So it's giving a lot more protection onto Greymane. Basically, so much armor actually.
Yeah, and there's not that much except the root and the what's the Q for Murin, I don't know why. Stormbolt. Those are the big CCs.
And there's no judgment coming out from L5 this time.
So basically, there's very few ways you need to be cleansed, and this is just going to make you more armored when you're rooted, and Greymane can still do damage while rooted, so it's fine. So I actually like this choice. I've been using a lot of my solo queue games.
Low. Even get Divine Shield on that Mosh, but there is no follow-up. Uther is already very low.
Once again, no follow-up, and Divine Shield not used on Greymane means Greymane can't fight. And now this is going to be disastrous. It's going to be a near team wipe. It's going to be 4 down as No Chat desperately tries to escape. Trying to get under that fort. It's very low. Noblesse comes from behind, hits the perfect Stormbolt, and that is going to be 4 down for BlossoM. And this very important Immortal phase I was talking about looks like it might be very heavily shielded. It's just now 13 minutes of the game. Incendiary Elixir is complete. That cooldown reduction would have been so much more useful earlier. Just wasn't able to get it quickly.
That's right. We see a lot of great roots coming out from Swoy at the same time, providing all the innovates.
The Divine Shield Mosh is such an incredible tool. It's so powerful, but when there's no follow-up damage for one reason or another, in this case being the Zeratul harassment, it's tough for you to actually care about it as L5.
The Mosh from Judy was basically to just to stall some time onto the back line while their entire team was dispositioned, was Judy alone, the rest of the 4, and Divine Shield just to save him for the time being, which actually could have been a lot better when if it was used on Greymane or even all to Sylvanas for an offensive use instead.
Would have to agree with that. Ooh, SC. Drew it at the wrong moment there, but just very aggressively positioning himself as Nitrogen continues to napalm poke. They just want to finish off the Immortal. Sanctification used here, Twilight Dream as well. Divine Shield is on No Chat. He finally does get some value out of it. Dives in for the kill onto Jungha. Noblesse is actually going to go in here. He wants to get Wiz. It's actually so funny to watch. This is a bit overzealous, I would say. Will they get the kill onto No Chat? There's another heal. They get the kill onto Wiz anyways, and they have 16.
Wow, look at those
This
sustains.
is messy.
Noblesse even still had the avatar until the very last second.
No Chat! Oh, he's not walking towards Uther.
Oh, he's even going to go past the wall, and even Tyrael joining the fight here.
They are diving big. By the way, always walk towards Uther. Not in this case. He probably would have died if he did, but I mean, can't tell you how many games I played on Uther recently where I'm like, no, I can't heal you if you run away, but if you came back, you could actually 1v1 that guy who's only at 1/3 health, even though you're about to die.
Now this Immortal is almost fully shielded. May actually go all the way to the core if they choose to.
Yeah, this may be game.
It's 17 to 14 right now, and Zeratul is coming back with the Void Prison.
Poking down that keep. It's just still heavily shielded. With everybody here and Void available, BlossoM should not group up. They need to spread to make sure they don't get multi-voided and caught with the Twilight Dream. That would be their Twilight Nightmare.
Look at that damage coming out from Jungha just from one combo. Just looking for the angle to go into Void Prison. They can just stall some time to burst down that core, which Nitrogen has already started onto the side.
Okay, Twilight Dream actually comes down here. They want to pick off Wiz first. Looks like he will be Divine Shielded, which is not the target they want. Void is going to catch people in the Hall of Storms, and that will finish the game here. As Jonga tries to pick up another kill on their way out of game number 1. L5 crushes it. Didn't even see the final kill score, but I know it was massively in favor of L5. They had the composition that was more old school, and I